Hi, everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of Words, Images, and Worlds. I am honored and delighted on this episode to be talking with comics creator, author Tony Kittrell. Tony, thank you for joining.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you for having me, and hello to your fans.
Well, thank you. I am loving the background, loving the
Yeah,
whole
Epiphany Engine.
aesthetics.
Yeah, that was our promo image where we had a lot of the company logos of the different companies that were coming together for this crossover event. So that's the image of it of that.
Nice, love it. We're of course talking about Epiphany Engine, but I have a couple of questions just for if folks happen to be new to your work. So, first, sort of an origins question of what captivates you about comics.
Uh, I've been a comics fan since I was about 6 years old.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
my brother and my cousin used to hang out and read comics together, and I was the little brother, a lot like Leave It to Beaver. Wally and Eddie would hang out, and I'd just be tagging along. They were like, "Ah, you can't come with us or whatever." So when they go out to their the baseball games or football games, I would sneak into the room and read their comics, and I fell in love with comics, and it was an ongoing love affair ever since. My cousin had given me his comics when he got into girls, of course, and
Mm-hmm.
it was like 300 comics. And this was a Sunday night. I would mind you, back then I had bedtime and everything. So my cousin had called me and he was like, "Hey, I'm giving my comics away. Would you want them?" I'm like, "Yeah." So my brother had spent the weekend over there, so I pleaded with my dad for like 15 straight minutes. Let me come, let me come. He's gonna give me his comic books. I gotta get him. I gotta get him tonight. So he let me come, and I had like three big stacks of comics in the back seat with me. So
Oh
it,
wow.
I stayed up the entire night. I was supposed to be asleep, but I stayed up and I was looking at each comic and reading. I'm like, mind you, I'm learning to read this when I'm in first grade. I'm
Uh-huh,
learning to
uh-huh.
read. Comics were one of the things that helped me learn to read. So I've loved comics ever since. And I'm an old man now, as you can see, and I still have that love for comics.
Well, likewise here, I would say comics were a big part of my reading life growing up, something that taught me to read, and I'm now an English teacher, so always glad
Oh,
to share that
awesome.
story.
You
Yeah.
know what? I say this publicly, and I said it privately and publicly. I used to be a career firefighter for almost 30 years, and
Wow.
the two sets of people to me that are heroes are you, teachers, and military people. You do so much as a teacher that it's unbelievable. You have to train up our youth. You have to raise them. You have to be their parents in a lot of instances. You have to be their guidance counselors. You have to be their moral authority. You have to teach them and do so much with limited resources that it's crazy the amount of pressure that you guys are under, but yet you
Mm.
do it with such grace. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you. That's very kind of you to say, and I know lots of teachers listen in, so glad to send that message and amplify it as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Uh, so you are Advent Comics, closely related.
I,
Let's say that.
I am the owner and founder of Advent Comics. I
Hmm.
started Advent Comics in 2009, and we're celebrating our 15th anniversary specifically on August 1st. That's our 15th anniversary. But we kicked the summer off, and we're going to be starting the actual celebration with Epiphany Engine, and we're going to keep rolling through that.
Love it. Love it. Now, there's a range of titles that are out there from Advent, from Crescent to Ace to Savior, lots of characters, lots of interesting worlds. Anything that folks should know about Advent before we dive
Yeah,
into Epiphany?
we the mission statement for Advent Comics is that we want to put the soul back in the comics. And when I say soul, it has a lot of different meanings. At the time, we were one of only maybe three active Black comic book companies that were out there at the time. But also, the comics that I wanted to do were comics that weren't the grim and gritty comics that were out in the 2000s when I came along. I wanted
Hmm.
comics that had some content to harken back to some of the things in values that I came up reading comics about. Heroes were heroes, heroes didn't kill, a lot of different things. So uh, when I created the comics, I created comics from for every genre. The only things that I do not do are not safe for work comics.
Hmm. Hmm.
I do have a couple mature titles that are selling. They sell through Diamond and comic shops, but for the most part, I do family oriented, all ages. I do horror, drama. You name the genre, we do it. Religion, we touch on everything. Horror, but yeah, we just believe that the fans are our most important goal in doing our comics.
Hmm.
Fan uh, them being entertained and them being pleased with what we're doing, that's what matters to us. So we've been trying to do that, and hopefully we've succeeded. We have a pretty loyal fan base, so I think we're doing some things right. You know, we can always improve, but I think we have a lot that we can be proud of so far.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's a nice segue into talking about Epiphany Engine. How did this project come to be? 192 pages, I think, something like that.
192-page graphic novel. It's a crossover between over 45 uh, Black comic book publishers, and we have over 70 creators participating on the project. And when I say creators, we have some all-star talent on this book as well. So from top to bottom, be you will not be disappointed in any way. Um, it came about actually. I was on TikTok. I had
Hmm.
just set up, Advent Comics TikTok page, and someone had tagged me in it, and the gentleman's name was Herschel Lewis, and he was referencing a book by one of my friend of mine, Dave Ryan. He did a book called The War of the Independence. Specifically, he was talking about issue 2 that had like 30 Black comic characters, superheroes who had come together in that one issue. He was saying how it would be neat if it could be something like that in today's times, because that book took place maybe close to almost 20 years ago now, close to 20 years. So he had tagged myself and a few other publishers and kind of uh, asked us to see if we would be interested in doing something like that. And I thought about it, and I'm like, that would be kind of cool if we could make something like that happen. So I went to Facebook and I had asked a lot of my peers and a lot of people, would you be interested in seeing something like this if it took place today?
Hmm.
And it was an overwhelming response, and people from everywhere, not just peers, but a lot of big name celebrities were like, yeah, that would be the move. And so initially, I was just going to be a participant, but Dave Ryan himself and a few other people in the comments were like, you got to lead this. I'm like,
Mm.
nah, not quite. Because I had been doing my other project, which is similar to that shirt I have on today, a
Hmm.
book from Advent called Cosmos, where I have 100 publishers, big names, little names, Dark Horse, Image, big names, little names, participating with their heroes. I was like, I've been working on Cosmos for darn near 30 years, so I know how rough this is going to be. And Dave was like, no one else is ready for this. They were like, you know what it's going to take. Go ahead and do it. So I thought about it and I decided to do it. And it's been what I thought it was. It's been an arduous task, but it's fulfilling, very fulfilling. And it feels great to finally do something that has been talked about in a lot of circles, whether it be the Black creator circle or just comics industry in general. That a project of this magnitude, of this many people, of this type of um, story couldn't be done. And like I said, I'm a career firefighter. I refuse to believe that no job can be done. So when I heard that, that was even more motivation. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Love it.
When I when I started this task, I had two goals: to make sure that this book, since it's the first of its kind, would be the best product we can put out, and two, I would not let anyone touch this book that was not of superb quality, because it's not important just to the Black comic community, the comic community as a whole, because this project, and when I tell you, this project is something special, something special. Um, so we went out and we got the best people you could think of. We got Brandon Thomas from Excellence and Horizon, Rodney Barnes from Philadelphia, and soon to be Batman. We got all-star artists like Chris Cross, Sean Damian Hill, Kenan White, and Stephen Harris, Eric Battle, Chuck Patton. I mean, you name it. Jamal Igle, Kieran Grant, Alethea Martinez. I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
There's so many people who believe in what we're doing, and they're not just Black people, they're white people, they're all colors, because they know this is going to be a solid story that everyone can relate to. Because at the core of Epiphany Engine, it's about family and unity. And I think those are things that every person, no matter what your race, your nationality, your creed is, you can gravitate to and basically enjoy the story. We're going to entertain you, but at the same time, we're going to also give you what you want and see all these superheroes you never thought you'd see together for the first time.
Love it. Love it. Very, very cool. Very cool. But it sounds like this has meant a lot to you, both
It has.
professionally and
It
personally.
has. It has. And I'm going to share something else personal with you. I tried a similar crossover back in 2013, myself and four individuals. And it was the genesis to what Epiphany Engine was going to be. We managed to get one issue of a 4-issue series done before ego and money destroyed the whole thing. And
Mm,
that left a very bad taste in my mouth. So almost 20 years later, when this came about, this was a chance for redemption for me. And I say that not that I take full responsibility for it, but the fact that we couldn't get a project like that done before,
hmm.
I wanted to make sure we got it done there. So
Love it.
that's why it means a lot to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Well, I know that there's a whole list of folks, a whole list of publishers that are involved, and I'll
Yeah.
put that up on the screen as we're talking through. But any particular collaborators, supporters as far as the publishing side that you'd like to mention?
All of them. We have the top names in Black comic book publishing today, whether it's Amara Entertainment, Roosevelt Pitts, and his Purge character. We have Godhood Comics. We have Concrete Comics. We have Second Sight Publishing, Bradley Golden's company. We have Fourth Wall Productions. You name it, it's like a who's who of Black comic book creators and the top tier. Like
Mhm.
I said, so over 45 publishers. We have the talent is just out of this world. Everyone who's on this book is just continuing to surprise me that they would, even be willing to do a project like this. But it goes to show that the fans are ready for it and the creators themselves are ready for a project like
Mhm, mhm. Absolutely. You mentioned the story. I know that folks will find characters to connect with and
that.
lots of interesting storytelling that
Yeah.
dives in with Brandon Thomas working on that.
Yeah. So basically, in a nutshell, the plot. I'll give you a quick plot pitch. So there's a family of adventurers, brilliant adventurers, a family named the McCallies, and some way along the line, they come afoul of a certain character who goes by the name of Absalom. Absalom is the villain of the story, and through that encounter, Absalom basically destroys. Well, I won't say destroys. Absalom damages the multiverse,
Mhm.
and that brings all of these different characters into play, and that's where the fun begins. So, in the first 30 pages of the story, you'll get the chance to meet the family. Brandon Thomas did the first chapter leading into it. He and Sean Damian Hill, who is the artist on such projects as Luke Cage, Bishop War College for the X-Men Bishop War College. He done Moon Knight, and he just got signed to Ghost Rider.
Mhm.
So we got powerful talent. The colorist on that is DC Alonso. So top tier. Every single page of this book is going to be just a sight to behold. So we hope you folks are ready for it. And I think, like I said, it's a universal story, but we also give you a little bit twists and turns in there. So it's not going to be the same old thing. So just be prepared for that as well.
Nice, nice. As far as the campaign, how long is it going on, and any details you'd
The
like to share there?
yeah, sure. Thank you. The campaign lasts for 30 days. It's over on July 19th. So we have less than 2 weeks to go.
Hmm.
And last I checked earlier this morning, we were above 60. We were 70% funded, and I believe we were about 36,000, 37,000, somewhere around there. I think it was 36,000. So we still need about a good 15,000 to go,
Hmm.
and less than 10 days to get it done. So hopefully your fans can help us out and pledge. Like I said, this is a story for everyone, no matter what your race, your color is. And I think you'll enjoy it. And the talent we have is some of the best from around the globe. And they've all worked on projects that you know. So you know every creator we have in this project. And the listing of the characters that or the creators that we have is mind blowing. We have Hugo Award winners. We have Eisner Award winners, Ringo Award winners, Glyph Award winners. We even have a couple Emmy Award winners, Grammy Award winners on the project.
Wow.
It's amazing. We have one gentleman who's even in the Smithsonian. So this is it's definitely all hands on deck for this one.
Love it, love it. Well, I will be going and pledging in just a few minutes.
So thank you.
I'll,
Thank you.
yeah, I'll include the Kickstarter link, any social media spaces or things like that where people can follow along as well.
Sure, sure. The Epiphany Engine has a Facebook page, it has a TikTok page, and it has an Instagram page. Myself, I have Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. You can find me anywhere. Advent Comics also has all those pages as well. So between those three sites, you'll be able to get all the information that you need about the project. And like I said, the link at Kickstarter.com under Advent Comics, the Epiphany Engine. And like I said, we have about a good less than 10 days ago, I believe, to raise about $15,000. So all help would be greatly appreciated. We have some awesome rewards still left. Original art, we have box sets, we have variant covers by who's who list of creators. We even have those people who want to put their business out there and want to be a sponsor of this historic event because it will be historic. Like I said, it's never been done before, and you can be a sponsor. You can be a producer, have your name in the book. You can even be an executive producer and win a well, not win, but with your executive producer tier pledge, you can have your name in the book, all the other perks, get all the titles, all the covers. You will also get an hour Zoom call with myself as the publisher of Advent Comics and Joe Illich, who's a writer, editor extraordinaire. He editor of Milestone Comics for Batman on the Batman, one of the Batman editors. He was the head of Heavy Metal. So
Hmm.
this is a power packed tier, and we have four of the spaces are gone. We only have six left. So if you want to be an executive producer, you can do that as well.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Tony, thank you for the time, the conversation. Did we
Thank
miss
you.
anything? Yeah, absolutely. Did we miss
Yeah.
anything you want to make sure to share before we close
No,
out?
that's it. We just ask everyone to help us make this historic book a reality, and we're so very close. Like I said, we're over 70%, and we just got to get the last 15,000. If you guys can help out, we greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Glad to have you back anytime to talk about creating and
Oh,
projects.
yes, if you don't mind, I'd love to come back because, like I said, this is the start of our 15th anniversary celebration.
Hmm.
And what made this project a lot of it stressful is because I was doing three additional big projects to celebrate our anniversary at the same time.
Yeah,
So if I could come back and talk about those projects, I'd love to.
absolutely. Glad to have you back. That would be wonderful.
Awesome.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you to the fans out there for watching the show, and please support the Epiphany Engine.